Hello everyone and welcome to a very impromptu video about the Isle. As you can see, we're not actually looking at the Isle. What we are looking at is the Isle Discord. I was just working on some stuff and then I got this notification from Punch Packet, one of the developers. And this is the message that they have for everyone, and it concerns the roadmap of Dinosaurs, which they announced to be releasing last Friday. Obviously, it is now a Sunday. It is evening. This is a very off-the-cuff video, so excuse me if I ramble a little bit, but I figured, I'd want to dive into this with you, share the news with you, and I'm very excited. I've only seen this message, but I know where I need to go to see the roadmap, so we're just going to read this first and foremost. He says, "At everyone, hey Islanders, as many of you are aware, we intended to release our roadmap last Friday, but due to some technical issues with the website, we were unable to do so. Whilst our website is still undergoing additional work, we aren't going to allow it to impede the release of the roadmap any further. You'll find it available in the roadmap channel beneath stream announcements. Below you'll find a short write-up that will allow you to appropriately set your expectations." And I think this is very important. Manage your expectations. Okay, roadmap expectations. We have not labeled these as numerical months or dates, but batches of dinosaurs that are designed around each other. These batches are not in a particular release order, but will be selected based on the needs of the game. Each batch is designed to function as cohesively as possible together. We will communicate deeper details to you as a batch is selected to be delivered. The plan is to make sure a base dinosaur is feature complete before we begin putting in more that will branch off and share mechanics. This means nesting, night vision, grouping diets, and anything else shared among every dinosaur will be in the game before the roster moves forward with dinosaur implementation. That's very important. I'm reading this for the first time, people. I'm reading this for the first time along with you guys, so that's very important. If there are delays, we will begin immediate work on the next dinosaurs and not wait out until the end of a month to start with the next batch. Lastly, not to be the things... What? Lastly, not to be the things are subject to change. That sentence isn't working in my head, but it's fine. But we want to make note that if there's a clear issue with the ecosystem, or roster of dinosaurs where needs aren't being filled, we will reach out to identify the issues and, if need be, alter the schedule of dinosaur implementation or put something else out entirely as needed if the outcome isn't what we planned or isn't benefiting the game environment." So yeah, it's clicking for me. They're basically just reiterating that everything can and will change, is subject to change if they figure out better ways to go about it, about introducing the dinosaurs. So from this message, important to take away is that what we're going to be looking at, the roadmap, isn't in chronological order. There are no months, there are no dates to go by. These are just the batches that they'll be working on. And we're gonna have a look at that. What I think is really important and actually good news is what they said: nesting, night vision, grouping diets, and anything else shared among every dinosaur will be in the game before the roster moves forward with the dinosaur implementation. After playing with EVRIMA for a little bit, I did find that grouping especially is sorely missed. So I am personally happy that they are working on introducing that to EVRIMA before they're moving forward with the first batch of dinosaurs. So we're going to move over to the roadmap channel, which was newly created, I think. Yeah. Here you go. This is the same message as before. So we have 4 batches, and let's just go through them. So first of all, we have batch A, small herbivores A and B, Homalocephali and Avaceratops. Homalocephali and Avaceratops both cover the range of small but I will headbutt you, my friends, and the tree dinosaurs. That's funny. Avaceratops, despite being a retro animal, was never given proper attention or playability, so we feel this is a solid addition alongside Homalocephali to provide players with 2 creatures that can joust, headbutt, and spar amongst themselves with the possibility of burrowing to prevent their imminent homicide. I appreciate the humor here. Okay, so we have small herbivores coming, Homalocephali, Avaceratops. Of course, Avaceratops is in the legacy branch. We hear it a lot. It's one of our favorite AI. Oh, AI. We need AI. I'm so sorry. And Homalocephali, adorable. We've all fallen in love with Homalocephali since it was introduced in Jurassic World Evolution. At least, I'm pretty sure we've all fallen in love with that. Interestingly, they're mentioning burrowing. I'm not expecting burrowing to be something for the Avaceratops. I'm guessing that's going to be more for Homalocephali. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm not really seeing a ceratopsian burrowing. We're moving on to small carnivore. This is just one dinosaur. Troodon. Nocturnal, venomous, and absurdly horrifying to hear. They do have a good sound animation, sound design. There you go. Everyone wants Troodon, and we're pretty sure there's already an unspoken rule that any Troodon is part of the horde, capable of hunting small creatures with raw damage from claws, venom, and time will bring down larger animals. If a Troodon is willing to sacrifice so the horde may eat. That's interesting. I wonder if they're probably just talking about the risk of a Troodon getting hurt while attacking a larger animal. But, you know, you might get killed in the process. But if you get a bite in, the herbivore will eventually die, so your group can eat. I think this is all information we already knew about the Troodon being nocturnal and venomous. Nocturnal for a game like the Isle is just going to mean that in roleplay servers, you're probably going to be restricted to moving at nighttime. And I'm guessing it's going to mean that night vision for the Troodon is going to be significantly better than the other creatures, just like the Dilophosaurus currently has a better night vision. That's very exciting. So first up, well, not first up, wait. No, I'm already making an error in my head. Batch A doesn't mean they'll be first. It just means that these three will come together once they're introduced. They're not saying anything about whether A, B, C, or D is coming first, second, fourth, you know. I need to manage expectations. Okay, batch B. We're moving on. We're moving through. Small herbivore, A and B, Dryosaurus, and Gallimimus. I love the Gallimimus. I love the Dryosaurus too, but, you know. This batch of herbivore selection comes from the observations of Utahraptor and their direct needs. You mean food. Currently, they need more accessible prey items, very true, than just a juvenile Tyrannosaurus, as they don't stand to an adult. I think it's meant to be don't stand up to an adult in singular combat. This dictates the necessity of two smaller dinosaurs that could not only fall prey to adult Utahraptors, but juveniles as well. Dryosaurus and Gallimimus are most likely to fit this bill, as they are agile, but not so large a singular Utahraptor could not hunt them, even at respective peak physical sizes. Interestingly, even though we just said, and they also just said, that there's not going to be any order to this, the explanation sort of implies to me that maybe, mind you, my guess is as good as anyone, but maybe batch B is actually going to be next up, since they are addressing the need for the Utahraptor to have sufficient prey in the absence of AI. So that is something that is immediately needed, I'd say. And I feel like that's being addressed right here. That the Tyrannosaurus isn't cutting it as a food source for the Utahraptor. We see a lot of cannibalism on the new map. So maybe batch B is going to be first. But anyway, batch B for the herbivores, Dryosaurus and Gallimimus. They're not mentioning burrowing for the Dryosaurus. Very interesting. And the other one from batch B is medium carnivore, the Carnotaurus. They write, well, if you have two prey items in the field, you need a proper hunter for it. Carnotaurus is perfect from the retro roster of dinosaurs that offsets the Utahraptor's superior maneuverability for sheer speed, restricting it to an ideal hunter in the plains. The introduction of Carnotaurus will also put Tyrannosaurus out of its current position of simply standing their ground against any predator, save for the largest of Utahraptor packs. Lastly, the somewhat fragile build of the Carnotaurus will not make it immune to the offensive of a group of Eudoraptors in adulthood, while its younger years makes it extremely susceptible to lone Eudoraptors. Okay, so it seems like the balance between Carnotaurus and Eudoraptor isn't actually that much in favor of the Carnotaurus. A fragile build. I wonder what that means. Is that just going to be more bleed damage? Or is there even a possibility that Carnotaurus will suffer a bone break from not just, you know, the one king of them all, the T-Rex, but maybe it can suffer bone break from multiple dinosaurs? So Batch B, Drysaurus, and Gallimimus, and Carnotaurus. Very interesting. Moving on, Batch C, small herbivore, only one small herbivore this time. Oh god, I don't think I'm gonna be able to pronounce this. Bipiosaurus? Bipiosaurus? Fill in the blanks. Bipiosaurus is the first small, considerably outlandish introduction to the island. I'm gonna have to Google what that dinosaur is. We want to move this batch into an aquatic theme. Oh, there you go. And placing the BBs towards something that resembles a penguin's movement in the water while still being able to move a bit on land. Dietary and societal needs for this dinosaur is focused all around water and the consequence thereof to see how this affects carnivore movements and behavior. So it seems like it's going to be an aquatic dinosaur, but I don't know what it is. So I'm gonna Google it. Bipiosaurus. Okay. A genus of therizinosaur theropod dinosaurs that lived in Asia during the early Cretaceous. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. This wouldn't strike me as, like a semi-aquatic creature, but that is what they're going for. Resembles a penguin's movement in the water while still being able to move a bit on land. Really? Well, I'm guessing they're taking an interesting design route with this dinosaur. Furthermore, in Batch C, we have medium carnivore A and B, so we have two this time. Actually, we have... Oh, no, yeah, there you go. Suchomimus or Baryonyx, and Deinosuchus. Okay, so Deinosuchus is being paired with either Sucho or Barry and the Bipiosaur. Please let me know in the comments how to pronounce this. Having a herbivore consistently in a water environment, be it rivers, swamps, or both, dictates the necessity of having a carnivore that shares the same environment. This lingering threat will give BBs, I'm gonna call them BBs, BP Mountain, sorry, will give BBs something to consider when entering the water, and none of these suggested carnivores have any distinct or powerful advantages on land. Okay, so what this means, first and foremost, it just reiterates that the small herbivore A from Batch C is going to be primarily an aquatic animal. And it also seems like the Suchomimus / Baryonyx isn't going to be very successful as a land hunter. Suchomimus currently in Legacy is a pretty strong dinosaur, not compared to the apexes, of course, but aside from kind of lacking in speed, I think it's a really strong dinosaur. So that's interesting that they don't have, as stated, any distinct or powerful advantages on land. I mean, that's something I expected from Deinosuchus, but not so much from Baryonyx and Suchomimus. So it seems like those are really going to be confined to a body of water, at least if they want to be successful hunters. And they're gonna be in there to rein in our peepees. Final batch, Batch D. Small herbivore A and B, Pachycephalosaurus and Diabloceratops. So much like Batch A, this is the larger I will headbutt you, my friends, and the tree batch. But this time things die, so that's neat. Okay, so going back to Batch A, the Homalocephali and the Avaceratops can headbutt you, but you know, through deduction here, I'm guessing not kill you. Whereas Pachycephalosaurus and Diabloceratops will be able to kill you with their headbutt. In reality, this piggybacks off of the sparring mechanics we want to introduce with the Homolo and Avaceratops, just ramped up with size to accompany this batch's predator. Okay, interesting. So yeah, this is a follow-up of batch A. So since it relies on the same mechanics but amped up, I'm guessing that in terms of order, batch D will indeed be after batch A. So for now, what I'm guessing based on having read this, I'd say batch B is coming first. This is just me guessing. I'd say batch B is likely first since they mention, you know, the Utahraptor and their direct needs. Then I'd guess either A or C. I'm expecting C pretty soon just because of the Deinosuchus. It's pretty far in development, but I don't know about the other guys. So it's going to be B, either, you know, regardless of the order, A, C, and then D. D, I'm guessing, will be actually last. Just because of how they've worded this. But I need to keep reminding you, they're not making any statements on the order of it. The small carnivore to accompany Pachycephalosaurus and Diabloceratops is the Ceratosaurus. Everyone remembers the Ceratosaurus' retro life and plans, but we unfortunately stopped his development to move towards EVRIMA, so it seems only fair to bring it back into play. A beefy, brutal brawler that is meant to sustain the most grievous of injuries, Ceratosaurus will be one of the few exceptions that can both cannibalize its own species and eat the most putrid carcasses without concern. That definitely gives the Ceratosaurus some unique gameplay characteristics. I'm interested in this sentence. Ceratosaurus will be one of the few exceptions that can both cannibalize its own species and eat the most putrid carcasses without concern. Because right now what we're seeing with the Utahraptor is that they can also cannibalize its own species. So are they talking about server rules? Or are other dinosaurs going to somehow... How do you prevent cannibalism? Cannibalism is pretty, you know, present in the Isle, either in Legacy or in EVRIMA, so, interesting. And it's definitely interesting about the putrid carcasses. That definitely means that you're not going to throw up after eating something. Carcasses currently aren't even in the game, at least not putrid ones. Right now, bodies just despawn. They don't have any gore in, but I'm guessing... You know, when you're in Legacy, after a while, the gore turns brownish, has a lot of flies. I'm guessing that's what they're talking about. That's all of the dinosaur announcements that they have for now, so nothing like Spinosaurus, T-Rex, Triceratops, Maiasaura, or any other. The Magiosaurus, Jesus, how's that pronounced? You know, the smaller sauropod. None of that, which surprises me. I thought the Maggie was going to be pretty soon, since I saw some development on that. But yeah, this is the first dinosaur names that we have. Homalocephali, Avaceratops, Troodon, Dryosaurus and Gallimimus, Carnotaurus, Bepiosaurus, I must be pronouncing that wrong, I'm so sorry, Suchomimus or Baryonyx, and Deinonychus, Pachycephalosaurus and Diabloceratops, and Ceratosaurus. I must tell you right now, as someone who proofreads a lot for their job, it bugs me that they use the and symbol here, and they spell out and here. That's something. And here they use a comma. Ooh, I'm triggered. Anyway, sorry, that's just me being so nitpicky right now. It's Sunday evening, I'm getting ready in the mindset to go back to work tomorrow. Pray for me. So this is the batches that were announced. I can't stress this often enough. They're not saying anything about which batch will come, just that if batch A comes, it means these will be together, these will be together, and so on and so forth. But yeah, my cautious guess would be, for now, to expect B first. B, right? Yeah, because they speak of the Utahraptor and their direct needs. Although, really, Homalocephali and Avaceratops could also fill that gap. I don't know. Like I said, this is a totally off-the-cuff video. It's very anomalous for me, and I apologize for that. But still, I hope that I got the information across, and I hope that you're excited about what is coming to EVRIMA. It does make me, an impatient person and a greedy person, a little bit sad that they're not giving anything in terms of when to expect it. Like, not even a slight hints, but you know, it's to be expected, really. Anything else noteworthy? I guess not. But I guess it will be a little bit until we see the next edition, since they said they will be putting in the shared mechanics first. I'm gonna stop rambling right here because I see we've passed the 20-minute mark already. I'm so sorry. I hope you found this video informative, and I will see you soon. Thank you for watching, and until next time, enjoy the game.